the over 500,000 gallons of liquid hydrogen and oxygen from the main tank suddenly explode.
73 seconds after launch, Challenger was destroyed. The cause wasn't chance, and it wasn't recklessness. It was a system that learned to accept warning signs, until one morning, it couldn't anymore. It's January 28, 1986, at Kennedy Space Center. You're living in a country that believes space is no longer a frontier, but a schedule. The space shuttle has flown dozens of times. Launches are broadcast on television like parades, majestic, loud, dependable. This mission feels different. On board Challenger is a school teacher, Krista McAuliffe, selected from over 11,000 applicants to be the first civilian educator in space. Children across the United States sit in classrooms with televisions rolled in on squeaking carts. You can imagine their legs crossed on the floor, notebooks open, waiting to see someone who looks like them float in zero gravity and teach lessons from orbit. The rest of the crew is equally remarkable. Commander Dick Scobie, a steady veteran pilot. Pilot Michael Smith. Mission specialists, Judith Resnick, an electrical engineer and accomplished pianist. Ellison Onizuka, the first Asian American in space. Ronald McNair, a physicist who overcame segregation and poverty to reach the stars. And Gregory Jarvis, an engineer finally flying after years of delays. Together, they embody the promise that space is safe enough for ordinary people, people who trust the machine and the institution behind it. But outside the camera's frame, the night before launch has been brutally cold. Temperatures drop to near freezing, around 28 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit overnight, far below anything the shuttle has faced before. Frost coats the launch pad. Icicles hang from the structure like frozen warnings. Engineers from Morton Thiokol worry urgently about the rubber O-rings inside the solid rocket boosters, small seals designed to flex and contain scorching gases under immense pressure. If they fail, there is no backup. These O-rings are not new concerns. For years, engineers have documented erosion, charring, and blow-by in previous flights. Each time, the shuttle flew again. Each time, nothing catastrophic happened. Slowly, dangerously, the abnormal became acceptable. You don't see the discussions yet. What you see is a countdown. The night before launch, a teleconference begins. Engineers in Utah, managers in Florida. Charts are shared, data is incomplete, but the trend is clear. Cold temperatures make the O-rings stiff and slow to seal. Roger Boisjoli and others argue passionately for delay. They warn that launching in these conditions is outside tested limits, but uncertainty cuts both ways. Management asks for proof, hard numbers, definitive failure thresholds. The engineers don't have them. Spaceflight has always carried risk, and Challenger has flown before with damaged O-rings. The question becomes less about safety and more about justification. There is pressure everywhere. Delays have already piled up. The launch window matters. The president's upcoming State of the Union looms. No one says launch at all costs. No one has to. The recommendation quietly reverses. The launch is approved. You might think disasters are born in moments of chaos. Often they're born in calm rooms, where reasonable people convince themselves that uncertainty is acceptable. Outside, the temperature drops further. Ice clings to Challenger's skin. The crew sleeps, trusting the system built to protect them. They are never told how close the debate came. At 11:38 a.m., Challenger lifts off.
25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
You feel the rumble through the broadcast speakers, see the twin boosters burn like suns. The shuttle clears the tower, banking slightly as planned. Almost immediately, within the first second, a puff of dark smoke escapes the right booster's joint. It's brief, subtle, missed in real time. Only later will anyone understand what that smoke meant. Inside the right solid rocket booster, the cold has already done its work. The primary O-ring fails to seal completely. Hot gases begin to leak through, carving a path like a blowtorch. For a moment, aluminum oxide builds up and plugs the gap, an accidental temporary seal. It is the last thing holding the mission together. You watch the shuttle climb. At 59 seconds, Challenger passes through maximum aerodynamic pressure, max Q. Structural stress peaks. At 68 seconds, mission control calls, "Challenger, go at throttle up." Commander Scobie replies calmly, Roger, go at throttle up.
Challenger, go at throttle up. Roger, go at throttle up.
Moments later, the temporary seal gives way. A flame jet erupts from the booster, invisible to the naked eye, but fatal in consequence. It burns through the external fuel tank. Liquid hydrogen and oxygen mix violently. The structure can't hold. At 73 seconds, Challenger disintegrates. From the ground, you see a bright flash. The shuttle seems to split, then dissolve. The boosters continue on separate trajectories, still firing until they're remotely destroyed. Confusion spreads faster than understanding. No one says the word explosion right away, but you know it. In mission control, telemetry becomes nonsense. Calls go unanswered. A controller finally speaks the truth aloud, his voice tight, obviously a major malfunction. The crew compartment separates intact, arcing upward before beginning a long, silent fall. Evidence later shows some emergency air packs were activated, suggesting at least a few crew members may have been conscious. There is no evidence they understood the full catastrophe, but there is no comfort in that either. Across the country, teachers turn off televisions. Children sense something terrible has happened, even if they can't yet name it. Parents struggle to explain how something so confident could fail so completely. The nation waits for answers. NASA halts the shuttle program, flags lower. The promise of routine spaceflight collapses under the weight of grief. But grief alone isn't enough. You need to know why. The investigation exposes not a single fatal flaw, but a culture. The Rogers Commission identifies a pattern, normalization of deviance. Warning signs were reinterpreted as acceptable risk. Success was mistaken for proof of safety. The system didn't break. It behaved exactly as it had been allowed to. During the hearings, physicist Richard Feynman performs a simple demonstration. He drops an O-ring into a glass of ice water. When he removes it, the rubber is stiff, slow to recover. No equations are needed. Cold compromises the seal. Nature does not bend to schedules. NASA accepts responsibility. Procedures change. Communication structures are rebuilt. Engineers regain authority to halt launches. The shuttle will fly again, but never casually, and never without Challenger in mind. The crew is remembered not as victims of chance, but as professionals who trusted a system that failed them. Their names endure in memorials, classrooms, and quiet moments of reflection. When you think back to Challenger, you may still picture the sky, the shape that shouldn't be there, but the deeper lesson lives on the ground in decisions made under pressure. Progress always demands courage, but Challenger taught you it also demands restraint, the discipline to stop, to listen, and to say not yet. Because the sky remembers everything we send into it, and sometimes it sends a lesson back.